Hey, what's up, peoples? It's your boy PC Williams coming to y'all live again on the Great Monday. This is a 1K Sports. We uncut, unbiased, unfiltered, and most importantly, we are very unapologetic. Like I said, it's your boy PC Williams, man, coming to y'all live here. I actually wasn't going to go live today. I had a lot going on today, been running around, doing stuff, man. But I got me some time here, man. As you all know, we're a little under 4 hours away from kickoff to the national championship game, Alabama and Clemson Part 4. But I'll get to that in a second. Today, I got an NFL wild card recap. Give you a little small preview of the divisional weekend coming up this weekend. I'm going to do another live show probably this Thursday or Friday to preview the divisional weekend and kind of give you a recap of how I feel about the game tonight. So we'll see how that goes. But in the meantime, in between time, all right. In the meantime, in between time, man, we'll get down to it. The wild card weekend came and went. I was 3 out of 4 on my picks. I got one pick wrong, and I'll go ahead and start with that. I want to apologize to the Colts and Colts Nation. I did pick the Colts to lose, and the reason why I picked the Colts to lose is because I felt like they were a team kind of riding high, on the magic carpet ride. They did blow up my Cowboys, shut them out actually. But I just felt like Houston was a better team, and they'll probably just figure it out and win the game. Boy, was I wrong. It was same old Houston Texans, same old environment, man. Deshaun Watson is damn good quarterback, man, but he got some growing to do. He's not all the way there yet, but he could definitely play in big games. I know that being a Bama fan, him being from Clemson, I know he can play in big games. So we'll see how it all works out going forward for him. But like I said, I was wrong about the Colts because I feel like I may have misjudged their team. I thought there was Andrew Luck and a bunch of guys that's helping them out. But I realized that they are a very dangerous team. Andrew Luck had a pretty good game, 19 of 32, 222 yards, 2 touchdowns, had 1 pick. Marlon Mack, he balled out, man, 24 carries, 148 yards. Just really balled out, man. And the thing that makes the Colts dangerous, from what I saw, they can score. Obviously, Andrew Luck is a damn good quarterback. When he's healthy, I feel like he's maybe top 5, maybe top 7, top 10 quarterback in this league when he's healthy. So they can score points. But now they have this great defense led by Darius Leonard, who should be the Rookie of the Year on defense, hands down. You got Marlon Mack, so you can have ball control. So now all of a sudden, this Colts team that was so Andrew Luck dependent, now they have a formula. They can run the ball at you. They can play good defense and slow you down. And if it comes down to a shootout, they have Andrew Luck to take it out. They have Andrew Luck to go and win a shootout for them. So they're very dangerous. They do have Kansas City this Saturday at 4:30. I will be watching that game. Early predictions, man, I feel like, KC is a better team on paper, but they have no defense, which plays right into Luck's hands, so we'll see how that works out. But I'm going to lean toward the Chiefs on that because I feel like they're a better team, man. And Mahomes had a great year, great offense, man. But back on the Texans, man, I feel like unless you're the Cincinnati Bengals, they're not going to beat you in the playoffs. They are just a very, to me, a very fraudulent team. Once you get the Texans on the playoff stage, I feel like they're not the same team that they are during the regular season. I feel like they can be had. I think when it really comes down to it, DeAndre Hopkins is all by himself out there. So you double team him, shut him down, and just everything else will just fall apart with it. They only gave us 21 points. I mean, that's not horrible. So the defense did show up, but the offense did not. And Bill O'Brien, he is a offensive guru, was Tom Brady's offensive coordinator at one point, and that's just no excuse. Deshaun Watson is he's a second-year player, but last year was cut short, so he's still kind of is I guess you can say a rookie in some sense, but I feel like the Houston Texans that have DeAndre Hopkins, who I feel has every right to say he's the best receiver in football. You have Alfred Blue tonight. They did have some injuries. Demaryius Thomas went out. Will Fuller went out. Their speed guys, so they had some injuries. But I feel like they were the better team. They should have won this game. They didn't. But I feel like it had more to do with what I did not see from the Colts. I feel like I always watch the Colts as, okay, that's Andrew Luck's team. If they give Andrew Luck a little bit of help, they'll be just fine. And they've given him all the help he can ask for. He got a running game. Marlon Mack is balling. Darius Leonard is balling on that defense. The Colts have a defense. I mean, I haven't seen the Colts have a defense in years. Even when Peyton was there, Andrew Luck's first couple of years, they had no defense. So it's pretty much our #1 overall pick at quarterback against your whole team. May the best man win. So Andrew Luck now has a complete team around him. His O-line may be the best in football. That means a lot coming from a Cowboys fan, but I feel like the Cowboys O-line over the last couple of years with injuries and attrition and just age have really kind of not been the top O-line, but maybe a top 5 line. But I think as we stand here right now, Andrew Luck has the best O-line in football. Quentin Nelson is just nasty, disrespectful, rude. I love it. He plays guard. I played guard, man. So I love seeing him play. My man Ryan Kelly from Alabama, Roll Tide. So that whole line has been put together through the draft, man. So I'm loving it, man. Andrew Luck having time to pass the ball. Marlon Mack running through guys. So this is a very dangerous team because, like I said, they can play ball control. They can play great defense. And if need be for a shootout, then Andrew Luck can outdo your quarterback if need be. Like I said, they got KC this Saturday. I'm going to go with KC. I hate to keep doubting the Colts, man, but I just feel like KC, they got a lot to prove. They can afford another win and go home or one and done either. So they have easily the best offense in football. You got Travis Kelce, my man Tyreek Hill. Kareem Hunt's not there, but that may come back to bite the Chiefs later on that he's not there. But for the most part, I'm going to roll with the Chiefs. They had a week to lay off and prepare for this game. And I feel like they're a better team. They're a better team collectively than the Colts are. And I feel like they have a more explosive offense than the Texans. Now, the Texans only scored 7 points. Their defense held Indy to 21 points. I feel very confident in saying that the Chiefs will score more than 21 points. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs, man. I feel like too much firepower, too many weapons, too many places to go with the football. And I feel like Andy Reid, he'll figure it out, man. So we'll see how that goes. So the Colts won. Congrats to them. But I got them losing the KC this Saturday. Some other wild card action. Had the Chargers going against the Ravens. A rematch of like 2 weeks ago. I feel like the Chargers, I picked them to win because the Chargers, the first time they played them, I feel like they got ambushed by that running attack and that defense. They weren't prepared for it. But I feel like this time around, whenever a great team loses to a team that they're better than, the second time around, that team really imposes their will. And I feel like the Chargers, despite the score, it was 23-17. I don't think the Colts, I'm sorry, not the Colts, but the Chargers, I don't think the Chargers really blew them out. I mean, it was a very lopsided game for the most part, but it was right there. And I think that speaks volumes to how talented Baltimore's defense is because looking on paper, it should have been a blowout of all crazy proportions, man. So I feel like the Chargers were the better team. They were better prepared this time around. I think they made great adjustments. As you all know, Lamar Jackson been killing it, man, with this read option, man. But the Chargers, they came with a great game plan. What they did was they took out the extra linebackers and put in DBs to match LJ's speed. Now you can't duplicate his speed because no one's really that fast in the NFL other than a Tyreek Hill type player. But if you put shorter, quicker, faster guys on the field to match his athletic ability and his speed, then you can slow him down. That's what they did. And the Ravens made a comeback at it. They made a try at it, man. I don't think they were going to come back and win. I feel like Lamar Jackson, for the most part, and he's had a great little run here. But me personally, I feel like the coaching staff in Baltimore kind of held him back. I feel like the guy can throw the football. And a lot of time with these young quarterbacks, they just say, okay, we're going to take the ball out your hand and just run the ball. And I think sometimes you got to trust your young guy. You got to trust Lamar Jackson to get you out of it sometimes. You can't always rely on him to run you out of everything. You have to get the ball in his hands sometimes, because in the playoffs, you have to make some plays. You have to make some throws. So Lamar Jackson's a damn great athlete, a damn great player. I think he's going to have a long, great career. But at some point, Lamar Jackson, like any other rookie or any other young quarterback, at some point in time, you got to start throwing the football and showing that you can make those throws down the stretch. He wasn't able to do that, but I think that's more so on the Ravens coaching staff. They have to find out what fits Lamar Jackson right now. Yes, he can run. We all get that. But you have to incorporate some passing with this kid to keep the defense honest. The option will always be there. Lamar Jackson as a runner will always be a threat. He'll always put that fear in your heart that he'll run the football at any given time. But you have to keep the defense honest. Hey, yes, we will run this rookie at you all day long, but we will go over your head too if you're not ready. Now I feel like Baltimore kind of stuck with the game plan, like let's just run. And they got behind so bad to where it's like, okay, now when you pass, they see it coming. They see it coming. They know you're passing, and that kills the whole purpose of it. So I think going forward, and by the way, the Ravens made the right choice. They could have went back to Joe Flacco, but they didn't. And I respect that, because Joe Flacco's time has came and went. He won a championship, man. He'll forever be a hero in Baltimore. But the time is now. It's Lamar Jackson's team. He got you to the playoffs. He's the guy you ride with. So I actually commend John Harbaugh on siding with Lamar Jackson, because he could have easily put Joe Flacco in that game, and Joe Flacco go out there and throw a few deep bombs. And hell, you may have won the game, but you may have caused an even bigger issue in your locker room now, because you made this choice to go at Lamar Jackson, and you guys stick with it. You know, and that's just plain and simple. I think Joe Flacco's had a great career in Baltimore. I think he's very underappreciated in terms of his career and what he's done. I mean, not too many guys can say, I beat Tom Brady in Foxborough. This guy did it twice. And 2 other times he lost, it wasn't his fault. You know, he did everything he could to get his team a field goal for a winning field goal. They missed that. In 2011, they missed a field goal. That he got them down there to score. They missed a field goal. Then in 2014, he had 2 14-point leads. The defense blew it. So Joe Flacco has done a lot in his career, and I think he gets overlooked because of his daily stats and everything like that, and the contract he got. But you can't blame Joe Flacco for going out there and winning a Super Bowl in his contract year and pretty much putting you against the wall with how much you're going to pay him. That wasn't Joe Flacco's fault. The guy's a damn great player, and he hustled you. So plain and simple. But his career is over in Baltimore. It's a new day with Lamar Jackson. I think he'll be fine, but the Ravens have to get the most out of this kid's game. Do not run this kid in the ground. Go to Louisville, talk to Petrino, learn, okay, what does Lamar Jackson do very well from a passing standpoint? How does Lamar Jackson react to 3rd and long in this spot? How does he perform? What's the best pass plays to call for him in this spot, this down, this quarter? You know, find that out. Do not run this kid in the ground, because if you keep running this kid on these read options, he won't have a career. So he's not Dak Prescott, 6'4", 250. This guy's a very little skinny kid, very fast, but enough of those hits, man, and his career will be over. So they gotta figure that out. But for the most part, I think the Chargers are, in terms of the teams that are left in the AFC, the Chargers are the most dangerous team, because I feel like they have the best roster in football. I feel like you look at a roster from offense down, defense on down, they have the best roster. You have Phillip Rivers, Hall of Fame quarterback. You have Mike Williams, Tariq Williams, Kenny Allen. You have 3 legit, top-notch receivers that can throw the ball to any time. Any given time. You have Antonio Gates, Hall of Famer, tight end. He can still do his thing and get things done. And I think they're gonna bring Hunter Henry back probably next week. So we'll see how that goes. Their defense is just loaded, man. Melvin Ingram, Joey Bosa, Derwin James, Polk County's finest. That whole secondary, man, Casey Hayward, all of them, man, they're just a great team built from the top down on both sides of the football. So you gotta look out for them and figure some things out with them, man. And they are the most complete team that's left in the AFC. I feel like you look at New England, they're old, in a little season, a little banged up, a little injured. They did beat the Chiefs at home, so it's not like if they got to go back to KC, they can't win there. I believe the Chargers will actually win at New England. Why do I feel that way? I feel like New England, they've done their part by just continuing to be New England. But I feel like where New England is lacking, where they are not, where they should have probably kept Brandon Cooks at, where they probably should have kept Malcolm Butler, I feel like they're going to really miss certain players at certain spots. Not having Malcolm Butler will be big. Now, I know he was a system guy, but in that system he flourished. Stephon Gilmore is a beast. So you put Stephon Gilmore and Keenan Allen. Who the hell's going to cover Mike Williams and Tyreek Williams? Who's going to stop Melvin Gordon? And then look at the Chargers on defense. I do not believe in my heart the Patriots offensive line can block Ingram and Bosa. I'm sorry. Just not going to happen. Then you got Derwin James flying all over the place, man. I just think the LA Chargers are a better team than the Patriots right now. Despite the records, I feel like they will go into New England and they'll put this whole thing to rest, and we'll see if Tom Brady continues to play after 41. But I have the LA Chargers going to New England and winning that game next Sunday at 1 p.m. in Foxborough. So I like the LA Chargers going forward, man. They're the most complete team in the AFC, man. So we'll see how they flow. So right now they're my pick to go through the AFC because they can beat Kansas City, they can beat the Colts, and they can beat New England. So that's all you have left. I feel like in each of those games they would play, they would be my favorite to win that game. So I got the Chargers going, being in the AFC, win the AFC. Well. Usually I don't do this. And Cowboy Nation, please don't take my country club membership. Please don't call my house and threaten me. Please. But thank you to the Philadelphia Eagles for taking out the Chicago Bears. All right, I said it. Forget y'all. I still hate y'all. So what? But I was never sold on the Bears. And the reason why, they have a great defense, first of all. Khalil Mack should be Defensive Player of the Year. He probably won't get it, but he should win it. Eddie Jackson rolled tide. My man Eddie Jackson, Dan Trevathan, Roquan Smith. Just Akeem Nicks, Leonard Floyd. They are loaded. Prince Mukamura at corner. They are loaded on defense. They have by far the best defense in football. Hell, they held the Eagles to 16 points and lost. So that lets you know what the issue is. I was never sold on Chicago because I feel like their offense, they have talent. They don't have game changers. Allen Robinson, as you know, the former Jaguar, he's pretty good. A pretty good, solid receiver. But he's not a game breaker or a game changer. He had 10 catches for 143 yards. It meant nothing at all. At all. So they need game changers. Now, the difference is between the Chicago and say, the Dallas Cowboys is the Dallas Cowboys are very dependent on their defense and their run game. So is Chicago. But the Cowboys depend on the NFL's best running back, and the Cowboys have a receiver in Amari Cooper that can take a 10-yard slant and go 80 yards with it. So the Cowboys are very reliant on their running game and defense, but they have two game breakers that they can get the ball to at any given time and say, all right, look, we're pounding them. All right, play action, hit Coop deep. All right, they don't see it coming, screen pass Zeke, run Zeke. You know what I'm saying? So the Cowboys have game changers. The Bears don't have those game changers at those positions. They don't have a game-changing receiver or a game-changing tight end or a game-changing running back. Tariq Cohen, Allen Robinson, they're all solid. But the Bears need to go and get a number one solid receiver. And they don't have that. They need a feature back to kind of complement Tariq Cohen so he can compliment himself. So as of right now, I feel like the Bears are a great team. They got a bright future with that great defense, man. You did sign Khalil Mack long term, so you keep those guys around. Roquan will be there for a while. Trevante will be there for a while. Eddie Jackson go get paid probably next year. Amuka Mara probably get paid again. So they got a solid defense. But their priority in this draft and free agency is offense. If they get an offense together, they're downright scary. Hell, they could have won last night. Hell, they had the game won. They kicked the game-winning field goal, but Dougie P called the timeout and froze, and then of course he bricked it and shanked it or whatever. So, Chicago, even with that, they still could have won the game last night with pretty much no offense going for them. So I think Trubisky is a young gunner. He'll be fine going down the road. But I just think the Eagles were the better team. They were the better team all around. They've been there before. They're defending Super Bowl champions. So going on the road and winning the game, it wasn't going to be a bother to them. So they got the job done. Excuse me. But I think the Eagles are a very resilient team. But I think the Bears, if they get their offense right, if they change their offense around the offseason, they may be the favorite next year to win the NFC no matter what anyone does this playoffs. If they get a great offense together, they draft a running back and a receiver and get some offensive talent and upgrade the offense, they will be a dangerous threat going forward next year. All right. But in the meantime, Philadelphia did win, and they get the pleasure of going to New Orleans to play the Saints in the Superdome. And I love it. I didn't want my Cowboys to go to New Orleans just right now because I feel like they're still pissed about earlier in the season. I feel like you going to New Orleans, you going to the Dome, and you're playing the Saints on divisional weekend. The Saints feel like they got robbed last year by the Minnesota Miracle. So they're going to be fired up, pissed off. Sean Payton probably got some great, solid game. He's been drawn for 2 weeks. I would hate to send my Cowboys into the Dome at that time. Now I know, if you want to win the NFC at some point, you got to go through the Dome at some point. I would much rather my Cowboys go there when they have to, not right away. So thank you, Philadelphia, for beating Chicago. Now you go to the Big Easy, and you get your ass kicked in the Dome. Thank you, Philadelphia Eagles. And in y'all honor, I got some Philadelphia Eagle Kool-Aid. Thank y'all so much. But your season ends next week. But it's all love for Philadelphia, man. Thank y'all for beating the Bears, man. Thank y'all for that. All right. There was another game this weekend. So who played? Yeah. We them boys. That's right. The Dallas Cowboys won 24-22. Now, I did pick the Cowboys to win, but watching the game, man, just kind of putting it all in perspective, it was a great statement win for the Cowboys. I feel like everyone kind of had their mind made up, the Cowboys, they're going to go into there, they're going to choke as they always do. A lot of people actually picked the Seahawks to win this game. A lot of people did. And rightfully so. Russell Wilson's a Super Bowl winner. They were on the hot streak, #1 rushing attacking football. They had it all going for themselves. But I said going into that game, the Seahawks had 2 advantages, head coach and quarterback. So your head coach can't play, and your quarterback has fallen victim to your old school play calling to where it's like, okay, Russell Wilson, yeah, you're a Pro Bowler, you're all pro, a Super Bowl winner, but we're going to run the ball instead of having you pass it. So I feel like watching that game, I feel like the Seahawks played right into the Cowboys' hand. They just kept running, and the Cowboys kept shutting it down. Now, defensively, they did look good. Aside for that last drive I get to, that was ugly, man. That was real ugly, but it was a good lesson learned for them. But in the meantime, Zeke looked great. He looked like Ohio State Zeke, man. I saw Zeke pregame, man. Bro had the jersey rolled up, had the tennis balls in his stomach, man. Had the tattoos all out. I'm like, oh my God, my man finna get 100 today. He showed this. Zeke had Actually, Zeke had 169 total yards. So he ran for 136 and he caught what it was, 33 yards receiving. So 169 total yards. My man Coop had 7 for 106, didn't score a touchdown, should have. And of course, Dak Prescott was a very efficient 22 of 33, 226 and a touchdown. He had one bad pick too, which I'll get to. Like I said, Dak played brilliant. He played amazing. But he did have that one pick, wasn't called for. The ball actually on that play, watching it all over again, the ball should have went to Coop. And Coop was very visibly pissed off about that, man. But that's neither here nor there. Neither here nor there. We won the game. Lesson learned. We'll see it on film. No, don't do it again. Bam, bam. But it was a great statement win for the Cowboys. I thought the thing is, Zeke Elliott is the most important player on this offense. Hands down. The offense should run through Zeke. But for the Cowboys to win in these playoffs, Dak Prescott is going to have to make about 3 or 4 throws. No, I'll do this. He's got to make about 5 or 6 plays a game with his arm and or legs, or just both of them. He had a couple big passes to Coop that went for big money and got and set up touchdowns. And he had that big rush, that big conversion with 3rd and 14. He ran, got the first down, damn near scored, and he scored the next play. So Dak Prescott played a solid game. I mean, the interception that he threw to try and hit Noah Brown, I don't know why you throw that ball in a situation. The Seahawks saw it coming. The guy was not open. And if you go throw that ball, throw it outside to where he could outrun the shorter, slower linebacker. That was just a bad pass by Dak Prescott. But the thing about this game was I was very happy that it went the way it went. I didn't like the defense giving up I didn't like the defense giving up that big pass play to Lockett. The Cowboys had just went up 24-14. The game is going to be over. Dak Prescott just broke their hearts with a long run. We just scored 24-10. It will look a lot better. The score will look a lot better had the defense not, just gave up at the end. But the first play of the last drive for the Seahawks, Wilson just drops back and throws a bomb and Lockett. He catches it. That was a very ugly finish to that game. So, going forward, I think that'll help. It's the playoffs. You don't go into the playoffs and think, okay, well, we blew a team out this week, so we're all set. No. Sometimes you need that tough win. I remember in 2010 when the Packers won it all, the first game of their run, they went to Philadelphia and played the Eagles. And it went down to the wire. Like, it literally went down to Michael Vick throwing the ball into the end zone to win the game, and it was intercepted by Trayvon Williams. So it came down to the last play in that game, and then they went on, blew Atlanta out, blew out Chicago, and beat the Steelers. So an ugly win like that in the wild card weekend, I'm not gonna, beat the Cowboys down for that, because they made some mistakes that I feel like Rob Marinelli will figure out and see, okay, all right, guys, we can't do that again. And Dak Prescott is one of those guys. Yes, he makes a lot of mistakes. I get that. But he's the kind of guy that he learns from his mistake, and he can't wait to get back out there on the football field and make up for it. So going forward in the playoffs, my Cowboys do have the Rams this Saturday at 8:15. So we'll see how that goes, man. But going forward, here's what I call the Dallas Cowboys food chain on offense. Zeke Elliott got to eat. Zeke Elliott got to get his steak and lobster. He got to. Zeke has to get fed. He has to. 25 carries a game, 5 catches a game. He's got to touch the ball 30 times a game in these playoffs. Coop or not. He has to get the ball 30 times a game in these playoffs, whether it be 20 carries, 10 catches, 22 carries, 8 catches. No. Zeke Elliott, the ball has to touch his hands at least 25 to 30 times a game. No bargaining that. He has to eat. But Amari Cooper, now Zeke is steak and lobster. Amari Cooper needs his Alfredo and broccoli and Texas toast. he got to eat too. So if you go pass the ball, the first option on every pass play should be Amari Cooper. If Amari Cooper is one-on-one, he should get the ball. If the safety's out the box, Zeke should get the ball. But either way, Zeke and Amari Cooper have to eat. They got to get fed if you want to win. Because think about it, we don't have a dynamic, explosive, wide open offense like the Chiefs or the Rams or the Chargers. We don't have that. We don't have three great receivers. We have one great receiver. We have one great running back. You know, we don't have a two-headed monster like the Rams have with Todd Gurley and C.J. Anderson. We don't have a dynamic offense where the quarterback can make everyone look great. No, we have to feed Zeke and we have to feed Amari Cooper. Now, he had 7 catches for 106 yards. That interception that Prescott threw to Noah Brown, that should have been a touchdown pass going the other way to Coop. He beat the hell out of the guy that was in front of him. He beat the hell out on a double move. He went inside, came back outside. It was nothing but Coop, green grass, in the end zone. That should have been Coop's pass all day long, and that missed it. You cannot miss Coop. You can't. You have to understand, the defense will double team him before they double team anyone else. So if you got a shot, if you have a chance to get Coop one-on-one, you get the ball to him. Amari Cooper has to eat early and often. Like I said, Zeke is the top of the food chain. Zeke should get 30 touches a game, bar none. You know, bar none. But Coop needs about, I would say, 12, 13 targets a game in these playoffs. If you want to win, you got to get the ball to your best players. And your best players are Zeke and Amari Cooper. Now, everyone else is, you know, can fill in. And by the way, my heart and my prayers go out to Allen Hurns, man. A very nasty injury, man. I saw it live when it happened, man. It was just disgusting, man. Any of y'all who ever played the game of football know those things really affect you mentally. I mean, I had nightmares about it, man. You know, I've never been, you know, a big fan of seeing someone's leg get snapped like that. Unfortunately, playing the game of football, I've had to see that a couple times. You know, it's not pretty. And you know, my prayers go out to Allen Hurns. And a lot of times, man, you know, we get so caught up in who the player is and, oh, you know, is he great this year? Is he having a great year? You know, but the thing about it is Allen Hurns is a human being. You know, the guy's that's someone's son. That's someone's, you know, probably, I don't know if he have any kids or, you know, that's someone loves him as a man, as a human being. You know, he's a former Jaguar, did great work in the community here in Jacksonville, still does to this day. You know, so I feel like, you know, a lot of times we get caught up in who the guy was. You know, God forbid, knock on wood, you know, if that was, you know, well, I ain't gonna say on the Cowboys. If that was, you know, DeAndre Hopkins or someone, knock on wood, you know, who had that kind of injury, it'd be world broadcast all over. But, you know, because Allen Hurns, and I guess he was having a down year or whatever, it's like, okay, he broke his leg, prayers up to him, and then, you know, move on. But, you know, Allen Hurns, you know, I love you, man. You sacrificed your leg, you know, for a first down. And, you know, I would gladly have you back over that first down, man. You know, I don't give a damn. I understand Cooper and Gallup are the top receivers on the team, but at the end of the day, you a Dallas Cowboy, man. You family, you from Jackson, you play here in Jacksonville, man. So my heart for my family, your family, man. I hope you get speedy recovery, man. I hope everything goes right for you. I would love to see you in the Cowboys uniform next year too, man. So, you know, player aside, stats and popularity aside, all the BS. Hearts, send y'all prayers up for Allen Hurns, man, because if you played this game of football, you understand what he's going through right now. A lot of depression, a lot of negative thoughts, a lot of, you know, oh my God, am I done for life? You know, do I give up here? You know, so just keep Allen Hurns in your prayers. You know, sometimes we get so caught up in who the guy was, we forget what happened. The guy had his leg snapped. Like, that thing was nasty. Like, you know, so it hurts talking about it right now, man. So, my heart, my prayers go to you, Allen Hurns, man. I wish you a speedy recovery, man. God bless you, man. So, like I said, man, the Cowboys don't have a great staple of receivers to where it's like, okay, I can feed him. No, get the ball to Amari Cooper. If Amari Cooper is one-on-one, I don't give a damn who it is. Get the ball to him. Because Amari Cooper, and I've been watching the guy play since high school, if you get Amari Cooper involved early, that's great. You have to get him involved early. He's not some demonstrative distraction where he's going to just go in the locker room and start throwing helmets. But Amari Cooper is just like any other receiver. Amari Cooper needs his touches. He's not going to complain about it or, go to the media and say anything about it. But Amari Cooper wants the ball too. Every receiver wants the ball. Just because everyone's not being Antonio Brown and throwing temper tantrums, no. Every great receiver wants the ball. Plain simple. So that's the Cowboys' food chain. Feed Zeke, feed Coop. Done. End of story. Play great defense, and we got it. But you got to feed Coop and Amari Cooper because those are your answers to the other teams that can score. Seattle, basically one dimension all game. But the Rams, they got Gurley, they got Woods, they got Brandon Cook, they got a squad. They're going to score points. Zeke and Amari Cooper have to have their handprints all over that game and any game that comes afterwards, man. So they have to touch the ball. And when you get in the playoffs, man, take the damn playbook and just throw it away. It's not about plays anymore. It's not about plays, it's about players. Get your top players the ball. Plain and simple. Like I said, I'm glad the game was tough. I'm glad that the defense gave that late touchdown and it came down to an onside kick. And God forbid, man, had my man Seabass been healthy, then who knows? You're down to an onside kick with the best kicker in NFL history right there kicking the ball, man. So I don't know. I don't know, man. But thank God it went the way it went and we won. Now we're on to LA. And let me preview that game. Now we got the Cowboys against the Rams in LA. Now here's where my principles about 1K Sports come into play. I did pick the LA Rams to represent the NFC and go to the Super Bowl. I did do that. I did pick the Rams. I did. But you know something, man? Everybody else changed their mind, so I'm going to change mine too. Because I did not believe, and I ain't going to lie to you, I'm a diehard Cowboys fan. I did not think we would get here. But at the same time, I didn't know we would get Amari Cooper. I didn't know our defense would be this damn good. So, with those things transpiring, yes, I did pick the LA Rams to get to the championship, to win the Super Bowl. But damn it, I'm a Cowboy fan first. I'm a Cowboy fan before 1K Sports. I'm a Cowboy fan bred, born, and dead, baby. So I got my Cowboys. I got the Cowboys pulling the upset in Hollywood. And let me tell you why. I did not want to face New Orleans because you are dead meat going into that dome. And the Saints have had 2 weeks off. And they feel like they got wrong last year because of that damn miracle in Minneapolis. So the Saints, whoever comes in that dome on that weekend is getting their heads blown off. I don't care who you are. You're not beating the Saints in the dome in the playoffs, especially in the divisional round. You ain't got a shot. You ain't got a chance in hell of beating them in the dome in that spot with those circumstances. All right? So I was hoping Philadelphia won, and they did. So now the Cowboys have a more favorable matchup. They're still picked to lose. And understandably so, LA is a better team. Zeke Elliott, to me, is the best and most valuable running back in football. Some say Todd Gurley. I have no problem with that. I just say Zeke is better. But Todd Gurley is a stud too. He's a top 2 running back too, right behind Zeke and L. Bell when he comes back, whatever the situation is. But, they got Robert Woods, Jared Goff, Sean McVay is an offensive maniac. So the Cowboys are picked to lose the game, and I get it. They're going against a better team. But here's where I feel like the Cowboys are right for this upset. Because the Rams, I feel like throughout this season, they peaked too early. They peaked way too early. Early on, we were seeing the best of them. But then, as time went on, Cooper Kupp got hurt. The defense had injuries that really just kind of exposed how weak they are. I mean, this Rams defense, I thought would be a top 5 defense when I first saw it this year in the offseason, but they have been exposed, and they've shown some very glaring weaknesses in that defense, so we got to see how it goes. But I just feel like this. I don't see anyone in the Rams backfield, defensive backfield, with the DBs that can cover Amari Cooper. Now, the biggest concern for me is the inside. Our O-line against Aaron Donald. I don't like Connor Williams against Aaron Donald. Lord knows I don't like the guy against Aaron Donald. Connor Williams just had his worst game blocking last against the Seahawks. And that got sacked 1 time or 2 times. So I'm watching him Connor Williams, this has just not been his year. It's just not been his year. And I would hate to just ask the kid, hey, can you block Aaron Donald for about 4 quarters for us, man? It's going to be hell to pay. But I have faith in the kid. Hopefully, this is the challenge that he wakes up on. Because if he ain't woke up, man, he'll get his ass knocked out. Aaron Donald is a bad man. And Ndamukong Suh is a bad man. Michael Brockers is a bad man. And they all feed off each other. So that's my concern. But I trust Amari Cooper one-on-one with any of those DBs. Peters, Talib. I know Talib's a top-notch cornerback, and so is Peters when he wants to be. But I've seen too much this season from that defense getting exposed. And I'm just like, I like our chances. And on top of that, everyone knows the LA Rams don't really have a great fan following. So that Coliseum is normally empty. But the Cowboys have the best fan base in America, and we are going to flood that LA Coliseum. Y'all are going to see the LA Coliseum packed like you never have before. I'm talking about maybe 100,000 might be in the building, man. It's the playoffs. You got the Cowboys in LA. There are a lot of Cowboy fans all over. Then you got the traveling Cowboy fans. So you got the Cowboys, and the color blue is very prominent in California. So you got a lot of people wearing blue. Go be at the game for the Cowboys. I'm just saying, this is the perfect scenario for the Cowboys. I would not want to go to New Orleans. The Cowboys are going to get picked to lose either one of these games. They're not favorite either one of these games. But I will tell you this. I like our chances better in LA against the Rams. I'm not saying that because the Rams are horrible. In no way am I saying the Rams are horrible or they're overrated. I'm not saying any of that. I'm not saying anything bad about the LA Rams. I think they're a top-notch team. They were my pick to win a Super Bowl. I mean, and I stand behind that from looking at that from the unbiased guy that I am. This is 1K Sports. So I'm looking at it from an unbiased standpoint, but I have feelings too. I'm a Cowboys fan before anything else. And I got my Cowboys going to LA and taking out the Rams. Matter of fact, I'll give you a score. I feel a 34-31 game by the Cowboys. They win in LA. Because I just feel like something in my soul just says this was the right matchup for this team. Because the Cowboys will have more fans. You go in New Orleans, you ain't got no fans. That's their home. You ain't got no fans in New Orleans. Sorry. But LA, Snoop, Q, they're not real LA Rams fans. They love the Raiders. You know what I'm saying? They're not really LA Rams fans. So I feel like the Cowboys can flip the home field advantage in that particular situation. Because the Rams, they've been a damn good team. But let's be real, they don't have the most loyal fan base. They don't really have a fan base that can fill that Coliseum up. There will be plenty of Cowboy blue in that stadium, man. So it would be like a home game for the Cowboys. Even though it will be a home game for the Rams, it will be so much love in the house for the Cowboys that they'll feed off of that. You know, and I get it, man. The Rams are the better team. I get that. I give you that. They are the better team. But man, I love my Cowboys' chances. 34-31. My Cowboys going to LA and pull the upset. See you then, baby. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Ding, ding, ding. Round 4. We got the Alabama Crimson Tide in this corner, and we got the Clemson Tigers in this corner. Round 4, baby. Bama currently owns this rivalry 2-1. You know that the first game, it was a classic shootout down there, out over there in Glendale. The next one was another classic down there in Tampa. Clemson won that one, and last year was a beatdown in New Orleans. Now, looking at this game, man, you got 2 heavyweights. You got 2 heavyweights. There is no clear-cut winner or no clear-cut. I mean, Bama's favored by 3 points. That's actually commendable and honorable because they were favored by 2 touchdowns against Oklahoma. You know, and I had Bama winning that game. What it was, 45-34. I was off by a point or something like that. So, you know, they're rightfully so. Clemson is not a big underdog, and rightfully so. You have 2 heavyweights that are undefeated. The winner of this game will be the first ever college football playoff national champion to go undefeated. All right, so this is a big game with very historic implications for both teams. And let me tell you why. Alabama, the Tide, they're playing for supremacy, historical supremacy. A win tonight, Nick Saban overtakes the Bear. Paul Bear Bryant, the greatest coach ever, the coach of game football until Nick Saban got here. All right, and he also was Bama through and through. 6 national championships at Alabama. If Nick Saban wins tonight, then he'll have 6 Alabama, and he'll have 1 more because the LSU one. But just to create a kind of context here, and I love Paul Bear Bryant. I think he's the greatest coach, you know, one of the greatest ever, you know, ever. But those 6 national championships, he didn't win all of them. He was awarded a couple. No, as a matter of fact, one time he actually lost the championship game and was awarded a championship. Now, I'm not trying to demean Mr. Bryant's legacy here, man, but I'm just saying, Nick Saban has outright won 6 national championships already. As a matter of fact, if Nick Saban decides, hey, you know what? I'll retire tonight. I don't even coach this game. I'm sorry. Bye, y'all. I'm going home. I retired. He will still be the GOAT in my eyes. But tonight, a win tonight, whatever conversation you want to have with Nick Saban and Paul Bear Bryant, that conversation gets buried tonight with a Bama win because the good folks up there in Tuscaloosa, they'll tell you, hey, you ain't past the Bear yet. The Bear has more than you, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. But a win tonight, that conversation dies tonight with a Bama win. I feel like Nick Saban is the greatest coach ever right now. Right now. But a win tonight just kills the conversation forever. What are the Tigers playing for? They're playing to prove that they are a king. Alabama is the king of this sport. Plain and simple. And if you're Clemson, here's the thing. The first 2 times you played Bama, you by far had the better quarterback. You by far had the better collection of receivers. And you had a very even defense with them. So if you're Clemson, the first 2 times, You clearly had the better quarterback. And it came down to the wire both times. When they played last year, you had Jalen Hurts and Kelly Bryant, two very similar quarterbacks, and you got blown out. So I feel like if Clemson lose tonight, that's 3 times they lost to Bama. Twice on the biggest stage. So now the question becomes, can anyone beat Alabama? The only hope college football has is Georgia and Clemson. And unfortunately for Georgia, the only time they give a damn is when they play Alabama. It seems like they're always due for some kind of letdown or some kind of a blown out. There's something always happens to Georgia on their way to the top. And I think Kirby Smart is going to run into a few issues going over these next few years with keeping this team together, with keeping them focused on being a contender every single year. Because some schools are great for a small period of time. To beat Alabama, you got to be great every single year. You have to lose Julio Jones and then replace him with Amari Cooper. You lose Amari Cooper and replace him with Calvin Ridley. You lose Calvin Ridley and you replace him with Judy, Waddle, Rosen, and Smith. You lose Deron Payne, you bring in Quentin Williams. You lose Drake Kirkpatrick, you bring in D. Miller. You lose D. Miller, you bring in Pat Surtain Jr. Alabama just reloads. They just reload. You lose Mark Ingram, you replace him with Trent Richardson. You lose Trent, you bring in Lacey. You lose him, you bring in Yeldon. You lose him, you bring in Henry. You lose him, you bring in Najee Harris. You lose him, oh my God. Alabama is loaded time and time again. So they are here on the top of this mountain, and they're here to stay. And Clemson has built their program just like Bama. We're going to get the biggest, baddest, most athletic players at every position. We're going to bring them in the training camp, may the best man get on the field. So they've built their team just like Bama. But if you lose tonight, then you're 1-3 against Bama the last few times. And now the question becomes, can anyone beat Alabama? Is Clemson even really that legit? So now you have that question. So if you're Clemson, you're not just playing, if you're Clemson, you're not just playing for a national championship. You're playing to prove that, yes, we lost to Deshaun Watson, and we can still compete with Alabama. Deshaun Watson was the biggest difference in the first 2 games. Without Deshaun Watson, you get blown out. Case in point, last year. Because I always felt like Clemson always had the better quarterback the first 2 times. And I love Jake Coker. I love Jalen Hurts. They're not better quarterbacks than Deshaun Watson. I'm sorry. So you had the better quarterback. And the teams like O-line, D-line, receivers, they're pretty even. They're pretty even. You know? They're pretty even across the board, even. But the one area where Clemson had the biggest advantage, the quarterback position, what they had the first 2 years. And they won one, lost one. You lose Deshaun Watson. You bring in Kelly Bryant. We got Jalen Hurts. You get blown out. So now you bring in Trevor Lawrence, who you feel, and you know what? I took my hat to Dabo Swinney on this, because he said, look here, man. We've always had the better quarterback for the most part when we play Alabama. Now they don't went out and got them a blue chipper. So now we got to go and get us one. Make no mistake about it, people. Kelly Bryant could have got this Clemson team to this point if he wanted to. But Dabo understands, if we're going to beat Bama with the way they're built now, we got to beat them the way that they're going to beat us. We got to go get us a quarterback. And also, Dabo Swinney has pressure tonight. You have to validate that move. You have to validate putting Trevor Lawrence as your starting quarterback midway through the season. You have to validate that move. That was a gutsy move, and I can respect it because Alabama did the same thing. Only difference is Alabama made they made their decision before they took a snap. Clemson made their decision midway through the season. And that's after Kelly Bryant won you a nail biter in College Station. So if you're Dabo, you have to validate that move. There's no other way to validate bringing in Trevor Lawrence and benching Kelly Bryant. There's no way to validate that unless you win. So who has the most pressure on the night? It's Clemson, because Bama, knock on wood, if Bama loses, knock on wood, then what? They'll come right back next year with the same squad. You gotta remember, Tua Tagovailoa and all 4 of those receivers will be back next year. Jerry Jeudy is a true sophomore. Henry Ruggs, true sophomore. Devontae Smith, my man Smitty, a true sophomore. Jalen Waddle, a true freshman. Irv Smith, he might go to the league depending on what kind of draft grade he gets. I wouldn't blame him. But hell, he might come back next year. The whole secondary will be back next year. Darlin Moses will be back next year. So if you're Bama and you lose, knock on wood, I mean, we're gonna return 85% of our talent. We just signed our best class ever, so we'll be here next year. If you're Clemson and you lose this game, then what? So the pressure to me is clearly on Clemson because they need this game more than Bama needs it. Plain and simple. So let me get to some particulars here. The biggest matchup. Now, I believe this game tonight will be won and lost on this matchup. Clemson's D-line against Bama's O-line. Whoever wins that matchup wins this game. As you all know, Clemson has the most talented defensive front in football. Christian Wilkins, Kalen Farrell, now, and they got Austin Bryant too. But they will be without Dixon Lawrence, the big man in the middle. They did do a lot. They did do good without him. But there were some spots that Notre Dame doesn't have the talent to exploit with him being out. Bama does have that talent to exploit that. So we'll see how that works out without having the big man in the middle. Because, now I ain't gonna lie, they are incomplete without him because you got Austin Bryant and Colin Farrell on the outside. You have Christian Wilkins in the middle dominating. But when you bring in Dexter Lawrence, that makes it all complete. That missing piece may be big. We don't know just yet because they did well last week without him. But of course, we all know Notre Dame went all Notre Dame, and that's how it went. So we'll see what challenge you can present to Bama now. Because they'll be a better O-line, and they got better running backs than Notre Dame. So they'll be more apt to take advantage of that spot. So Albert Huggins, he's going to get a lot of action towards him, a lot of counting, a lot of this and the other misdirection. So they got to step up. But the winner of that matchup wins the game. Plain and simple. Bama's O-line, if they protect Tua, if Tua can have a clean pocket to throw from, this game is over. Just being honest. Because Clemson can score, but Bama can score. You know what I'm saying? Clemson is explosive. Alabama is deadly explosive. So if it comes down to a shootout, I got Bama because they got more weapons. They got 5 legit receiving options. 5 different guys that average at least 18 to catch. They got 3 legit running backs, and one of them is a Swiss Army knife. So you got 6 receivers and 2 legit studs running the football, and you got Jacobs doing his thing. So That's the biggest matchup is that O-line against Clemson's D-line. The winner of that matchup, if they get pressure on Tua and they start hitting Tua and start getting to him, not be a good day. But if Tua can stand back there and throw, done. Because I don't think Clemson has the talent in their defensive backfield to cover Bama's receivers. Not all of them, not across the board now. Because the thing about Bama receivers is you never know who it's going to be. You know, hell, against Auburn, it was all of them. Against Georgia, it was Waddle. Against Oklahoma, it was Smitty. Then it was Ruggs. Like you never know. You just never know which one was going to kill you. Hell, if you shut all of them down, then who covers Irv Smith? Who covers Jakes out? Who covers Joshua Jakes out of the backfield? So Clemson's only hope, Clemson's only chance is to beat up Tua. And if Bama's offensive line can keep Tua upright, then they win. They start hitting Tua, start getting doubt in their mind, then you got a problem. But I feel like special teams in this game is huge. As you all know, the first game, Kenyon Drake. You know, second game, missed field goals. Last year, field goals. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to be big. But to me, I always have, in every game I have a challenge flag. Like, in every game you have the X factors and all stuff like that. To me, the X factor for the Tide is Najee Harris. Now I know Damian Harris is the man. I love Damian Harris, man. Like if you haven't really been following Bama football, like really follow Damian Harris, man. Like this dude came in as a freshman. His freshman year was Derrick Henry's Heisman year, and that same year they brought in Bo Scarborough. Now they brought in Bo Scarborough to be the next Derrick Henry, but Bo Scarborough couldn't stay healthy all the time. And it was kind of like they wanted to push him to be the next Derrick Henry. And all the while, Damian Harris right there grinding. So just like that, every year, you're talking about a young man that's trying to keep Bo Scarborough off his ass. Then they signed Josh Jacobs sophomore year. They signed Najee Harris last year. So that they brought in running backs year after year to take Damian's spot. And he withstood it all. Bo Scarborough went to the NFL early because of Damian Harris. So Damian Harris has withstood the test of, the test of it. Because they brought in Bo Scarborough to start. They brought in Jacobs to start. They brought in Najee Harris to start. They brought these guys in to take Damian's spot. And he held it tight. Back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. Hell, he might get 1,000 yards tonight. I think he needs about, 100 more? So he may get it tonight, maybe not. But either way, his legacy at Alabama will forever be remembered. Because I respect the little guy. He stood by. Like I said, they brought in guys to put him on the bench. He still stuck right there and fought through it all. So, but the X factor to me is Najee Harris. Because I feel like out of all of Bama's backs, he's the more talented, most, gifted physically back. So if it turns into a shootout, at some point, somebody's got to run the clock out and get some first downs on the ground. And I feel like Travis Etienne's a damn good running back. Damian Harris is damn good. But Najee Harris will be an issue for Clemson because, quite frankly, if your D-line can penetrate the Bama offensive line, you still got to bring down Najee Harris. He's a big boy, man. 6'2", 245. He wears it well, can hurdle guys fast, just built like a monster, man. So he's my X factor for Bama in terms of grinding it out and putting the game away. For Clemson and Bama fans, I know y'all hear his name, but that guy number 13 for Clemson, I'm not going to say his name because that's bad luck. Knock on wood. But number 13 for Clemson has been Alabama. He's been the kryptonite, man. The first two games he killed as hell. He was the one that caught that damn championship game, winning touchdown, man. And then last year, we put Meek on him, and now that was all she wrote. So we can't let this guy get off. We can't. We cannot let that guy, number 13 in orange, get to us. We can't. All right? Now, my challenge flag is to Bama's secondary and to Clemson secondary. Now, my third cousin, Patrick Surtain, little Pat Surtain Jr., now he got beat down against Oklahoma. Now, it's no shame in that. CeeDee Lamb was a damn good receiver. So, and you got a young stud in Pat Surtain, who, by the way, is going to be a stud for Alabama for the next 2 years. But tonight, it's already word in the air. They're going to try him. And if you're Clemson defensive, if you play defense for Clemson, then you're probably tired of hearing about them receivers. You're probably tired of hearing about Jerry Jeudy and Smitty and Ruggs and Waddle and Smith. You're probably tired of hearing about them. So think about it. My challenge flag goes to these two groups. Which secondary is going to step up and make a couple picks or force fumbles or a few big plays? So I'm challenging Bama's DBs and I'm challenging Clemson DBs to not get embarrassed. Because the word is they already plotting on trying Pat Surtain Jr. because of what they saw against Oklahoma. Like I said, there's no shame in getting done up by CeeDee Lamb. That guy's awesome. So there is no reason to feel bad about that. So if you're Pat Surtain Jr., understand this challenge, or the word is they're going to attack you early and often. Well, guess what, Pat Surtain Jr.? Make them pay for it. Take one of those tried passes to the house on their ass and do that. So whichever secondary can step up and make plays, that's the deciding factor. We have our X factors. We have our biggest matchup. But whichever secondary can make some plays, get some picks, hell, maybe even score off one of them picks, that will be the deciding factor. Whichever secondary can make some plays. Because you know both of these teams can score. You know that. So which secondary is going to make that game-changing pick or that game-changing stop? Whichever secondary steps up, that's what team will win. And I believe it will be the Tide secondary. So, down to the nitty-gritty. Who wins the damn ball game? All right. I got the Crimson Tide, surprise, surprise, 42-35. All right? Like I said, I think top to all the way bottom, Bama is better. Clemson's hope tonight, I won't say hope, but their ticket to win tonight is their D-line has to get to Tua. They have to. If they don't, if Tua can just sit back there and text his girlfriend, read the Bible, and do all stuff like that, you're not beating Alabama. Because they got too many weapons. They have too many weapons for you to just sit there and let Tua pick you apart with no pressure. If you just sit back there, because with Tua, it's real simple. You play zone, he kills you. You play cover 2, he kills you. You got to put pressure on Tua. If he just stands back there, I don't care who you got in the secondary, he will pick your ass apart. All right? So, if Clemson can get the Tua, they can win. But I don't think they will. All right? Even if they do, that give them a chance to win. But Tua will get his. Tua's going to throw the ball down the field. He's going to score points. Clemson has to limit how many times he can do it. So I believe Jonah Williams and the crew, they step up, block those big guys up front. I believe my man, matter of fact, I'm going to make a bold prediction. My man, Pat Surtain Jr. will be defensive MVP tonight because I feel like they're already trying my dog, saying they're going to torch him. They're going to try him. They're going for him. All right, we'll do that. Go ahead and do that. And that kid will pick your ass off, and I promise he'll score with it. All right? So, I got Bama 42-35. They win round 4. Nick Saban passes the Bear. Bama puts themselves up there with the 90s Bulls. I mean, just, whatever. but I got Bama 42-35. And that's my show. Thank y'all for tuning in. I know I didn't give y'all a heads up, man. Like I said, I didn't think I would go live today, man, but I found some time to come in here and do it. As you all know, it's almost game time. We got about 2.5 hours to game time. I got some steak in the refrigerator, some Alfredo, man, from last night. My wife we had threw down, man. So I already got my snacks. Y'all get me some, some other stuff, and hey, man, y'all enjoy the game. Enjoy NFL divisional round weekend this weekend, man. I will try to do another show probably Thursday or Friday to give a full preview of the divisional round. But until that time, man, in the meantime, between time, man, I love y'all. It's 1K Sports, man. Uncut, unbiased, unfiltered, and most importantly, we are unapologetic about it. All right? 1K Sports, man. What PCW? Be easy.